Oh, let's see. Are we recording? Wait, this is weird.
We're recording. Okay. Welcome. Welcome to your Living A Course in Miracles call. Today is Friday, March 2nd. And my name is Jared Krebs. I am here in San Antonio. And I am excited about today's call because we are going to discuss chapter 2 of the lifetimes when Jesus and Buddha knew each other. I've been reading, and I'm so excited about reading now. Actually, I read a lot. I read this book. This is the real deal right here. This is Ken Wapnick, Journey Through the Course. This is a much harder read. But now I'm reading 2 books, and I'm loving my Course in Miracles study. So I can't wait to talk to you. My mom's trying to show me something. Is today March 9th?
Yeah.
Oh, it's March 9th. It's not March 2nd, it's March 9th, and for Lengi, it's March 10th already. All right, well, you got to forgive me, so that's what this whole call is all about anyways. All right, so as we always do, let's start off with everyone sharing their name. Where are you calling in from, and why are you excited about today's call? Who wants to go first?
Well, I'm Lengi. I'm in France, and it's the 10th, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm excited about today because I haven't got the book yet. So I'm going to find out what chapter 2 is all about. My first time.
Awesome. Well, Lengi, I love your enthusiasm. Thank you for being on the call. Even without the book, you don't even know what you're going to talk about, and you're still on the call. I mean, come on. Doesn't it get any better than that? Thank you for being here.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Awesome. All right. Who's next?
This is Viola from Salt Lake City. I'm excited to be on the call because you guys are my favorite people, actually, because you get it, and we can forgive each other, and it's all cool. But
awesome. We're your favorite people. So are we in a special relationship?
You're considered to be in a special relationship now.
But it turns into the holy relationship, right? So
yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Mom. That's very nice of you to say. All right. Who's next?
My name is Rosalía Peralta y yo soy de Puerto Rico.
Awesome. And why are you excited about today's call, Rosalía?
I love the chapter very much, but the part that excited me more was about the animals.
Yes.
And the conversation with the animals. And I recently or months before have bought many books about the theme.
Interesting. Cool. Well, I'm glad you're here, Rosalía.
Thank you.
Nathan Lively, you're the one left. Are you there?
Oh, shoot. Sorry, I got distracted. Hi, everybody. I'm Nathan Lively. I'm in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Excited to be here to forgive everyone.
Awesome. Thanks for being here to forgive us. All right, so let's rock and roll. Let's do this. I'm getting texts left and right. My dad says, driving, please don't call on me heading home. All right, Dad, I will not call on you. But still, that's awesome that you're on. All right, so we're going to talk about chapter 2. I've really enjoyed reading this book. So my highlights for chapter 2 were just hearing about the lifetimes when Jesus and Buddha knew each other. I mean, the first one, they were Shintos named Hiroji and Saka. Jesus was Saka, Buddha was Hiroji. And then the second lifetime they talk about, they were Taoists actually hanging out with Lao Tzu, and Buddha was Waznan, and Jesus was Saka. Yes, I got it. I got that right. I mean, it was just intriguing, like hearing about how Lao Tzu on that lifetime was like totally aware of pure non-dualism, and Lao Tzu was like this superstar rock star master, but he had his patients be ascetics, and the fact that they were denying themselves of every worldly thing made it devolve into semi-dualism. And just, that's kind of stuff that we've learned already, right? Like if you have to give it up, then you make it real. So it was interesting just to see that dynamic, but still at the same time, maybe Lao Tzu's teaching style wasn't exactly for everyone. He was still a master. He still was aware of pure non-dualism. And just that whole lifetime of Jesus and Buddha, where, I mean, they started out as clairvoyant children, and then they ran away from their parents, and they studied from Lao Tzu, and later on they got married and had kids. Like, could you imagine? Like, your dad is Buddha and your mom is Jesus. And they had like 4 kids, but 1 died, I guess. So it was like 3 kids, but I wonder what happened to those kids. That never gets talked about. I mean, all this stuff's super intriguing, right? And I'm probably like stealing everyone's thunder right now because I get to go first, but there is so much in these 2 chapters that everybody should have something different, hopefully, to say. But the last thing I want to say is their lifetime as Shintos, where they loved the same woman, and the girl's name was Megumi, and neither of them actually got to marry Megumi or be with Megumi. And then they had like this little weird like jealousy thing between Jesus and Buddha, basically, that they forgave each other. And then also, like, when Megumi was like, she had to marry some other people because it was, or some other guy because it was an arranged marriage. And back then, like, that's what you had to do, is go with the arranged marriage, even though she loved, I think she loved Jesus, or she loved Jay. Anyway, long story short, when she talked about how she hoped for a better karma and for a better reincarnation scenario. And then that was probably my biggest takeaway, that I didn't really ever look at it, how they talk about how reincarnation is also not real. Reincarnation is a dream. And when I saw that and I read that, I was like, wow, reincarnation is a dream. Because I think I've made reincarnation real. I've always say that I'm tired of reincarnating and I want to stop reincarnating. And actually, it's the dream of reincarnation. So the more correct way to say it is, I want to wake up from the dream of reincarnation. And so, I mean, I'm just getting all kinds of stuff from this book, from this chapter. I read it twice. I'm like super proud of myself for reading it twice. I have lots of ego identification pride with that, the fact that I read that chapter twice. But so that's what I have. So I want to hear from the other people who have read the chapter first. Rosalia, Nathan, and Viola.
I can say some stuff.
Okay, and then I also, my request is that as you share it, please try and stay on chapter 2, so we can get through it all, and then we'll chat about other stuff afterwards. Nathan Lively, the floor is yours, sir.
Yay! So I think my favorite part was at the very end when he talked about, they said, do you still talk to Jesus in your mind? And he said, yeah. I was like, shit, I should do that. So I don't know how to do that, but I want to. And let's see. So there were 3 things. There were 3 things at the beginning of the chapter that I liked a lot. This section, we all have the right mind where the Holy Spirit dwells in the wrong mind, which is dominated by the ego and its thoughts of separation. Which part of the mind controls us is decided by the third part of the mind, the part that observes and chooses. That's where our real power is, the power of decision.
Mm-hmm.
You make that decision mostly in how you think of others. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So that's why we focus on our relationship so much and forgiveness, because you make that decision mostly in how you think of other people.
100%.
I also really like, oh, go ahead.
No, keep going. Love it.
I also really like this line. There is no physical evidence, absolutely no proof that Jay, Buddha, or Lao Tzu ever existed. I'm like, well, that's interesting. I mean, I guess I don't know what proof there would be that, like, there's no photos, I guess paintings, bones, anything. Like, so we just have all these stories about these people and like these huge religions and like things people do with their lives about people that there's no evidence they existed.
True. It's wild, right? Oh, and remember that part where they talk about how like the teachers have all this great knowledge and then it always gets devolved into like semi-dualism or whatever because the students end up screwing it up, and that's like,
Oh yeah.
that's like the ego, but it's really the ego. Like the ego, that's it, almost the ego can't help itself. Like
Yeah.
egos will naturally screw it up because we want to preserve our existence. It's like the ego's like a roach that never dies.
Yeah, it was interesting to learn that Hinduism started out as non-dualistic and then devolved into dualism, and that must be what, you know, all these Gary Renard books and the hard work that he and, you know, the Center for Forgiveness or whoever publishes A Course in Miracles is trying to do to stop A Course in Miracles from, you know, the same thing happening to it. Because if humans are going to be around for another millennia, it seems pretty likely that A Course in Miracles could just turn into, you know, another religion and go from non-dualism to dualism.
100%. And and remember that part of the book where they're like, oh yeah, and you got to go all the way. Like you can't just undo the ego a little bit because that's like a subtle trap. You got to go all the way. And that's why I think Gary keeps talking about non-compromising, you know, and Ken, that was Ken's message too.
Yeah.
We got to go all the way, man. It's go big or go
Gotta
home.
go all the way.
Go big or go home
Yeah.
on this call.
Okay, I'll say one more thing, which is
Okay.
it's just as important to monitor your feelings. Why? The truth is you're more likely to act out of your feelings than anything. And that was really important for me because I'm much better at the head game and like noticing like, oh, I'm judging my wife. Like I'll stop that now and I'll give that to the Holy Spirit and forgiveness. But man, when it comes to feelings, I just can't even. I don't even. It's so much harder for me.
Ooh, good notice.
Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Nathan. All right, Rosalia or Viola?
Okay, Rosalia, I'll go next. So this chapter was really good because it helped me learn about some of the other philosophies, some of the other religions, like in Japan, the Shinto. I had no idea that even existed and kind of what it meant. So it talked about, like with just some of the things that I underlined here, is the importance of breathing deeply. That was something that they got out of Japan, I think. It was the Shintos. Or that's what Jesus learned, or Buddha, I can't remember, but I just wrote that down. They were proficient meditators, which helped them in later lifetimes, even if they were in dualistic paths. They already sensed it was an illusion and how to commune with animals. And I totally thought of you, Jared, with your dog. And I kept thinking, man, that would be really cool to actually try it. I don't have a dog, so I'd have to try it on another animal. But if I had a dog like you, I'd be doing that all the time just to see. That'd be fun. You know,
Do it, man. Well, otherwise the dog's gonna shit everywhere. So if I can just send him some good vibes, man, calm him down.
Maybe pictures of him pooping in the backyard.
No, I need to send him pictures of like Nora and Crystal like coming home and hugging him and loving him and being there with him, and just so that he knows love is gonna come back.
Yeah, but he still needs a picture of Porta Poop.
No. If I send him the picture of love, he'll control himself.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's the point that I got at least from it. We'll see. You know what? I'll keep you posted.
Hey, yeah, love always is good, is always good. So the purpose of the Japan story is so that we'll realize that all spiritual students go through the same steps, and all the steps must be completed successfully. Everyone will get there when they're supposed to. You can't just know something, you need to actually do it.
Ooh, preach.
Yeah, that's what the Japanese story meant, one of the meanings. So, yeah, reincarnation is a dream. That was big for me too, Jared, because I made that real as well. And,
Yeah.
And so it was like, I could see how we made that real. I mean, because they talk about it, so much. And
yeah, that was a big distinction. I mean,
was.
I've been making it real my whole life, ever since I figured out that we reincarnate, and I decided I didn't want to do that no more. I've been making it super real.
And then Lao Tzu, non-dualism, the Tao is formless. The truth, okay, you guys talked about this already. Aesthetic, denying worldly pleasures. Okay, so he later actually gave up asceticism. I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Asceticism.
Asceticism. Lao Tzu gave it up, but you don't need to give up the world if it's not real, nor go crazy experiencing worldly pleasures either. Be normal, because you can think more clearly and have normal situations to apply teachings to.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. And let's see, the Shaili and Wosan, the psychics fell in love. Okay, got married. So it was interesting that Shaoli, I don't know how to say it, but anyway, it would be Jesus the female, that he actually made a distinction before his master Lao Tzu and said, if this is all in my mind, then why change my behavior? Why not just change my mind? So, yes. So I don't know if he did it before him, but that was just something that they said there. And you know how they talk about the Tao Te Ching?
Yes.
Now, is that, this is just a question, is that something that came from Lao Tzu? And what is it?
So he's the guy that, well, he didn't just, I guess he's one of the authors of the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu.
Uh-huh.
And it's a book on the Tao. Remember Wayne Dyer? Wayne Dyer talked a lot about that.
He did.
But like, I don't know exactly what it is, or I don't have like a big explanation for you. I mean, it sounds like it's a spiritual teaching, talks about the Tao, but I don't want to digress too far off the web, off the topic of chapter 2. Right. But yeah, that's all I can say about it,
Yeah. So he followed Lao Tzu for 6 years, he and Wosan, and that was interesting that they just decided, it was not for them, and they could move on. And the conversation between Lao Tzu and Wosan, which is Buddha, was to be empty, have no agenda. And meditation. And also this was interesting, having peak experiences in our lifetimes. We might have had one in a different lifetime, but we don't have one now, because now we're learning discipline, maybe. But
oh yeah, I like that a lot too.
Yeah.
Made me feel not so bad about not having a peak experience.
You still might have one. So, and then I wrote something, Shaoli, she was the universe. Does that ring a bell for anybody? I don't know.
Yeah, she had a peak experience.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I wrote it down and then I couldn't remember. But it was a good chapter. I mean, it really had a lot of stuff in it. And it
was very good.
You do really good for not taking notes and remembering it all. Like, seriously.
Thank you. I read it twice, and I like planned it out. I was like, okay, I'm going to read like 4 pages a day for the next 6 days. I'll get the 24 pages done. But like on Sunday of last week, I got on a roll. I just got so into it. I read almost the entire chapter. So then I'm like, well, it's already Monday. I've already read the whole chapter. May as well read 8 pages a day for the next 3 days and read them fast, because I've already gone through them with a fine-tooth comb. So anyway, but thank you, Mom, for acknowledging me.
That's it for me.
Beautiful. All right, let's bring Rosalia on the line. What were your highlights from chapter 2?
Yes, I wanted to mention to you that about the peak experience,
Yes.
that he mentioned something about in other lives you have probably had them.
Yes.
So maybe that's why you're not having them now.
Exactly. And I'm cool with it. I'm cool. Maybe I just need to just do my reading. That's my new discipline.
That's great. I'm glad you read it twice.
Thank you.
So the other part that one of the highlights, it is about when you know that we can have special abilities like clairvoyance, etc., that he was mentioning about, and that it's part of the path of the path we have to go through in different lifetimes. And he says that everybody has to go through them and finish them successfully, all of them, so that in there comes the ability like to communicate with animals, because they're saying that we are joined, even humans and animals, together with in our minds. So that's why we can communicate. It's only that we have to practice it. So maybe you can talk to your little, what was his name? Little Sam?
Little Sam.
Yeah. It's not that easy to imagine how to communicate in images. I tried it. I have seen my animals reading my mind, especially my cats. But there's a communication. And I enjoy that very, very much. So the other part also that I wanted to mention was, well, they mentioned the discipline. The part that when it says, in any case, the goal was eventually to give up mental attachment to the world. According to Lao Tzu, giving up physically was just a stepping stone. And then he mentions also that Lao Tzu understood and taught non-dualism, even though not everybody picked up on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Lao Tzu was a master. He was all the way.
And when he mentions you don't have to do anything, and the Tao emptiness, that every student goes through many stages on them temporary. That's what I was talking before, mentioning about the stages. But sometimes people get stuck on them, on these abilities, and then they can forget their goal, which is to wake up. That's only something that it could help us in our path to make it easier to understand.
Yes, true.
And practically, there are many good parts, but it's so difficult for me to express them.
You're doing great.
To read the book. Thank you, Jared.
Thank you, Rosalia. You're doing great. You're expressing your ideas great. We understand it. And I'm so glad you're sharing. You have great contributions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a new person on our call. He's calling in on the phone. He is a dear friend of mine. It's his first time on the call. Everybody, please say hello and welcome to Moses Munoz.
Hello, Moses Munoz. Welcome.
Hello, Moses.
Hey,
Hi.
I'm so glad to join you guys. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you loud and clear. How are you, my bro?
Okay, great. I was afraid I'd be too loud, so good, you can hear me.
You sound great. Well, first of all, I want to welcome you to this call. I know that you've been a student of A Course in Miracles and all this really cool spiritual advanced stuff for a long time. Have you been able to get the book yet on Jesus and Buddha?
Not yet, Jared, but it is on my list. Jared, it is on my list. And thank you very much for the welcome, Jared. I appreciate the warm welcome. Always a pleasure to talk with you and join the group session for this book. So I totally appreciate it and glad to be here.
Awesome, brother. Well, I know you're going to catch up fast. I know you're an avid reader. And whenever you do get the book, these chapters are only 10 to 20 pages long each. So probably in a day you'll catch up or less. But super excited to continue to chat with you on these calls, my bro. Welcome.
Yes, thank you, Jared. I look forward to reading more. I had put the book down for a minute, just doing other stuff. But I have the audio book, so I can catch back up. And I'm totally excited to do it. And I was really excited to hear about that book. I was so excited when you showed me the cover of it, and I totally look forward to reading that book.
Heck yeah, bro. It's amazing. It's a very enjoyable read. It's not available on audiobook, so it's something you're going to have to find. I think you can get it on Amazon. It'll get to you for, I think it's like 10 or 15 bucks, and you probably get it in a couple days on Amazon. I don't know if it's available on ebook as well. It might be.
Yes.
It is available on ebook as well. Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. I think for that book, I'm gonna actually buy the book because I still do enjoy reading.
Yeah.
Not just listening, but I think that's a book that I definitely want to hold. I want to embrace that book. Physically feel that book and just take it in.
Bro, it's such a good feeling book. I'm rubbing it against my face right now, and it's soft. So soft and beautiful.
Yeah.
Awesome, Moses. Well, I cannot wait to hear what you think about these chapters. So we'll be here again next Friday. Feel free to stay on the call, and let's keep it going, bro.
I look forward to it, Jared. I'll be tuning in next Friday. I'm gonna be going over the book this week. So I don't know if I'll be completely caught up, but I definitely will be getting into it.
Badass. All right, my bro. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Okay, Jared, you too, man. Thank you.
Yes.
It took a while for me to get on here because, like I said, I didn't have the space on my phone, but I'll be able to join via phone call next week as well.
Okay.
I'll work on getting some space on my phone cleared up so I can, join you guys.
Badass. Awesome.
Where
Thanks,
does
Moses.
live?
Moses lives in San Antonio.
Oh, okay.
He lives 10 minutes from me.
I thought you were going to say he
Yeah,
lived
it doesn't fall off.
country or something.
Actually, Jared, I moved, Jared.
Oh, you moved? Okay.
Yeah, I just recently moved to the Woodlawn Lake area.
Oh, nice. Real nice area.
Yeah, so
Now
it's
you're
real nice, and I've been enjoying it.
Awesome.
I'm sorry?
Brother. Now you're 20 minutes from me.
Slightly farther, but still in touch, my friend.
Hey, that's right. Awesome, bro. Thanks for being here.
Okay, thank you, Jared.
Yes. All right, let's go to Langi.
Okay, so,
Thank you, Moses. Let's go to
yes, sir, thank you.
Langi Tompkins in Paris, or not Paris, France. Oh, help me, bro. Where is it in France?
I live in the middle of Brittany.
Brittany. I was like, yeah, okay. Brittany in Brittany, France, which sounds like Britain. Brittany, France.
It is. It kind of is.
Oh.
In French, it's called Breton.
Oh.
And Breton is French for Britain.
Uh-huh.
So the thing is that when the Romans left England and left Gaul, which is what France used to be called, Brittany became quite empty. And as the Vikings and the Danes and the Saxons and the Angles invaded England from the east, they pushed the Britons, the ancient Britons, west to Wales and Cornwall, and a lot of them came here, and they called it Britain. So really, I live where the old Britons ended up, and
Wow.
you can always tell them because they're quite short. I'm 6'3", and most of them are about 5 foot. So it's a bit like living in Hobbiton. They're all like hobbits, but they're really nice hobbits. But they do wear shoes. They haven't got fluffy feet.
Oh my God. Who's that Hobbit? Bilbo?
Yeah, Bilbo and Frodo and
Yeah,
Sam Gamgee and all that lot.
So, Langi, I know you have not read the 2 chapters, but what have been your highlights from hearing us talk about chapter 2 tonight?
Well, I've read all of Gary's other books, and including Cindy's book. This is the only book I haven't had a chance to read yet. Well, before I ever started doing A Course in Miracles and had even heard of Gary, I had this idea that Jesus would probably have been a Buddhist and not a Christian.
Uh-huh.
That was just something that seemed to just embed itself in my psyche. And then when I read Gary's first book, Disappearance of the Universe, it just blew me away. Just, so many questions I'd had all my life about the nonsense that seemed to be the New Testament and even the Bible in a lot of ways, just was, I don't know, laid out perfectly sensibly and logically. And every time I read, I've read Disappearance of the Universe about 8 times, and every time I read it, I get something new out of it. I'm wading my way through very, very slowly, deliberately, Course in Miracles. I'm doing the workbook for the second time, very slowly, and I'm nearly finished reading the actual book bit for the third time, and I'm doing that slowly as well. And for the second time, I'm doing the workbook for teachers. And if it wasn't for Gary, I don't think I could have even started on A Course in Miracles. It is such an in-depth piece of work. I've loaned or given Disappearance of the Universe to quite a few people, and they can't get past page 15. I've given it to a guy on Monday. He's I would call him a lapsed Course in Miracles student. His mother was a Course in Miracles student for a long time. She's quite elderly now, and she's given up on it. She's gone back to being more of a Anglican participant. Let's put it that way. And Simon is he says he's read the Course in Miracles, but I don't think he's done it properly. The Course in
So
Miracles.
what were your highlights though on chapter 2? What we were talking about?
Well, I'll get to that in a minute because
Okay,
I've got a mate who's a Buddhist.
Okay.
I'm talking about Simon because this is a bit of a victory for me.
Okay.
I've been going and seeing him a few times recently and talking about A Course in Miracles. And I got the impression he hadn't really done it right. And Course in Miracles is uncompromising. You either do it right or don't do it at all, really. You've got to, and I've seen people who start halfway through and they don't bother with the text and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, I gave him Disappearance of the Universe. And I said, look, if you don't like it, let's not fall out about it. But he hasn't come back to me yet to say he's cross with me, angry with me, wants to throw it at me or anything like that. I think if he can get to the end of Disappearance of the Universe, he will be able to cope with the Course again, right? My other friend is Buddhist. Now he's in Nepal at the moment. He's gone off on a retreat thing, and I've spent he got me through being a Course in Miracles student on my own, because he could relate to the illusion without thinking I was nuts. And Ashley and me, we've gone we're on a separate journey. He's a Buddhist and I'm a Course in Miracles student, but I think we've both been there for each other. We've both been a great help. But what I learned really about Buddhism is that they have got certain, what I would call from the Course, idols. These are rituals that they have to do. Course in Miracles doesn't insist you have to do anything. As soon as you make it something you have to do, it's something that holds you in the loop. But you know, anything that becomes something you must or attend to, you know, doing something at the same time every day becomes a habit, then becomes idolatry, you know. And that all it is, it's not a sin, it just keeps you in the loop. So you've just got to avoid that. That's why it's important to do nothing. But to do nothing is not easy, because, you know, if you sit quietly and meditate, thoughts will come into your head, won't they? You know, unwanted thoughts about all sorts of rubbish, you know. I get sort of wound up about things I have to do, you know, jobs, you know, things need doing, or, you know, the cat will jump on my lap, you know. And that's, and I'm interested in this thing with animals, because I have quite a good relationship with animals, although my dog doesn't poop all over the place, but he does have a habit of running off. And I know he's going to do it, because he gives me a look just before he does it. He'll go off, and he'll have been a good boy, and then suddenly he'll just turn, look at me, almost wink, and then leg it. And I know where he goes. He just goes around the village. He goes one way, I go the other, and I meet him on the way back. But it's usually when I'm busy and I want to be doing something else. So I have to forgive him, but I've given up letting him off now. I leave him on the lead all the time. But I do have this thing with my animals, and my cat Lola. You know, she's the ego thing. Whenever I want to sit quietly and meditate, I've said this before, she'll suddenly appear from nowhere and then sit on my lap, and then, you know, they do that clawing thing, you know, and yeah, all that nonsense. So I'm really looking forward to reading this thing about Buddha. I spoke to you about other people in history that I thought were enlightened people, like what was it, Edward the Confessor. He was the last Saxon king of England. Well, he's an Anglo, I suppose. You could actually probably say he was the only English king we've had, because the rest of them were foreign, and even our modern royal family's German. So, you know, but he didn't really want to be a king. He wanted to be spiritual. And he's buried in Westminster Abbey, and he's supposed to have done miracles and all sorts of things. And he was, for a long time, England's patron saint. Of course, England's patron saint now is St. George, but it was originally St. Edward the Confessor. And then there's this Rasputin thing. I think Rasputin gets pretty bad press historically, but he was able to do miracles with the haemophilic son of the Tsar and Tsarina of Russia. He used to bump himself and then he'd swell up in agony, and Rasputin could heal him over the telephone from Siberia. So Rasputin was, you know, he was a seer, a healer, and he was almost impossible to kill, because they murdered him and they poisoned him and shot him, and he actually drowned in the river in the end. So he was almost like resurrected in a sense. I think he just decided, oh, I've had enough bullets, I've had enough arsenic, I'll go. they don't want me to be here anymore. Well, he even predicted his own death and who would do it. So I think there's a lot of people out there that Shakespeare has already been mentioned by Gary, hasn't he, as being an enlightened person. And that thing about what is it? This life, this theatre is but a dream of. Was it? I'm not very good at quoting Shakespeare, but from The Tempest, anyway. This happy dream is, you know, thing of which dreams are made of. I made a right mess of that, didn't I? Anyway.
Well, you know what, Lengi? I appreciate that you're on. I mean, you stay up till 2 a.m. It's almost going to be 3 a.m. So, bro, we want to hear from you, and we appreciate you. And thank you for always being on and sharing your stuff, because it is good stuff. And you're right, man. Some of these people who are enlightened in from the past are awesome. And this book is definitely right up that alley. You know, even learning about how Lao Tzu is you know, enlightened and whatever. So awesome. We have 15 minutes. We have 15 minutes to do forgiveness in the field. So I want to do that, and I think Rosalia had something to add. Are you there, Rosalia?
Yes. I would like to add, since Langi mentioned about the meditation, to read a part from the book at chapter 2, where it says, meditation was part of the daily discipline for every student of Lao Tzu. The idea was to achieve absolute stillness of the mind, to eventually have no interfering thoughts of any kind. And then, thus the mind becomes more peaceful. And then it also says below, it is helpful to quiet the mind. It helps prepare the mind for training. And then he also mentioned is the importance of having a thought system. So I just wanted to add that.
Thank you. Very well said, Rosalia.
Okay.
All right. So for forgiveness in the field, and I'm saying this for Moses since he's brand new, but also to remind all of you, we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 people on right now? 6 people. So we have 14 minutes, and I'm going to need 2 minutes to close out the call. So we got 2 minutes each, and we want to hear what was something that you forgave this week. But we don't want to hear all the crazy details, more what happened and how you forgave it, because this is ultimately not about the drama. It's about applying forgiveness in your life and sharing it with everybody. I'm going to be the timer, and I will start by sharing a forgiveness lesson. And let me time myself. Okay, here we go. The clock's ticking. All right, so forgiveness in the field. I was washing clothes, my new pants I had just bought, and my new shirt, and I was so excited about it. And I was washing the clothes, and they were done, and they were ready to be taken out and hang up. And then Crystal needed to wash some clothes too. And so she went in there, and she turns on the washer, and before my clothes are out of there. And so my clothes are just like my nice new clothes are getting drenched in water. And I just got done washing them, and I didn't know I didn't want to wash them again. And I lost it, man. Like I was really upset. And I didn't like yell at Crystal, but I was like, get out of the way. Like I said, get out of the way. And I was just mad, and I was just like, ah. And I lost it, man. I had been reading all about my Course in Miracles stuff, and I just couldn't apply it. So I asked the Holy Spirit for help at that time. I said, Holy Spirit, help me see the situation differently. And it took probably like 40 minutes for me to like come back to Crystal and apologize. But it just showed me how tricky the ego is, and you know how much I needed to work on that part of you know, whatever. Just keep going, I guess. But yeah, definitely very humbling when I lost it over my clothes getting wet, and I had to rerun them, and that's it. I just put them in the washer again. I didn't put more soap in there, so that's what happened. I'm at 1 minute and 30 seconds, so I'm done. Who's next? Forgiveness in the field. I will start the timer when.
Jared,
Go ahead.
You jogged my memory of I haven't had a whole lot, but one, I'm working with a nutritionist now, and I was supposed to order this protein shake powder on Amazon. So your dad he orders it, and we both look at it, and we're both like, yeah, that's the right thing. That's the right thing. Well, then it came a few days later, and it was the wrong thing. So then I'm like, ooh, I don't think this is right. Like, look at the picture here. And so we looked, and we're like, he's like, well, I asked you. And I said, I know. So I didn't blame him or blame anyone, but it was just, I had to forgive it, because now we have to send it back and pay extra money to send it back and then order it again. So I received it today, but I was really, really proud of myself that I couldn't get mad at him, because I had actually looked at it too. But it was a forgiveness lesson for me this week.
Good job, Mom. And you're under 1 minute, so I don't even have to forgive you for going over. All right. All right. Thank you. Who's next? Forgiveness in the field.
I'll go. I'll be
All
very
right,
quick.
Langy.
Weather. The weather is an absolute mess here at the moment. We've had snow, we've had rain, we've had rain, we've had rain, and the places are muddy. The cow's churning it up, the horses are churning it up, and I'm fed up paddling around in mud. So I'm forgiving it all of the time.
Wow.
That's it. Done.
Wow. 20 seconds, bro. Langy, it's a world record.
Yep.
Way to forgive the weather. That's a big one for me, by the way, too. I hate the colds, and yeah, I'm with you. Forgive. Let's forgive, so we don't have to keep doing this dream of reincarnation, right? All right, let's go next. Who's next? Forgiveness in the field. We got Moses, Rosalia, and Nathan.
Hey.
Nathan.
Yeah. Let's see. I basically just woke up one day this week and didn't want to go to work, and it's hard because I work for myself and I work from home, and so I just spent a lot of time that first day just trying to ask the Holy Spirit for guidance, and that was my forgiveness opportunity.
Ooh, man. When you ask the Holy Spirit for guidance, you activate the Holy Spirit's thought system. I had a conversation with Pablo Arango this week for an hour, and that was one of the things that got me the most exciting. It's just literally saying, Holy Spirit, help. Holy Spirit, take charge. You just change the whole thought system. Big stuff, Nathan. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
All right, Rosalia or Moses. I don't know if Moses can unmute himself. I might have to unmute you, Moses. Rosalia, do you want to go first?
Okay. Well, the forgiveness that I had to do was I was in a wedding with my mother. My mother is 91 years old. She's a very happy person and loves to dance and everything. And I go out because of her, because I don't really care of going out. And then she went to the bathroom and she fell. So it started there. Then when they helped me to carry her out in a chair, and thank God nothing happened to her. It just hurt. And the next day she was fine. But it happened that when I was gonna get the car to move the car and get her in, she had left because we were in her car. She had we put a crook lock in the steering wheel. She left the key. The crook lock, I put the crook lock and we didn't have any key to take it off. So it was like, I have to call a taxi so that it could take me and I saw myself that I was like getting so excited, and suddenly I said, no, Rosalia, take it easy. Just handle the situation without getting upset. And I'm so glad everything came out perfectly. Yes, and I could control myself. I controlled my anger and all that, and it was great. Everything came out perfect.
Well done, Rosalia. And 1 minute and 40 seconds. Perfect timing. Thank you. Super exciting. All right, Moses, I'm going to unmute you. Anything, forgiveness in the field?
Yes, Jared. Actually, this was at work about 3 days ago. I was kind of venting to my boss about some payment deadline, and it wasn't an aggressive vent. It was just a comment in my own 2 cents or whatnot. And a little birdie chimed in, who was my coworker, and felt he needed to give his opinion about it. And the second he did that, I just felt this frustration come over me like a warm blanket, and I felt I had to give him a piece of my mind, but I caught myself and I was just like, you know what? This is not important. I don't have to tell this guy this. It's not important. So I walked away, and it was kind of like this negative charge in the air. So I kind of walked away from it and came back, and I kind of just took a breather, you know what I mean? No, it's just a walk, and came back and just thought, you know what, this is so old for me. I just felt like I was wasting my time, and I was by just feeling that way, you know, just feeling that fact that I wanted to tell him something. I just immediately forgave myself. I forgave him, and when I went back, there was that charge still there, but it wasn't happening inside me. It was just kind of there, but it immediately dispersed because without my participation, there was nothing. It just all went away, and I just realized, and I, you know, from time to time you have those experiences where you just feel that whatever is there, it just goes away, and forgiveness is a powerful thing, and it's something that we have to work on every day. But that's my forgiveness lesson. I just forgave the young man. He just felt he needed to be right, and I just realized, you know what, there is no right or wrong. I'm just completely taking myself out of it and just forgiving the whole thing.
Well done, Moses. And in under 2 minutes, too. You did it, my bro. Thank you.
Yes, sir. You're welcome. Thank you.
Yes, keep up the great forgiveness work. That was great. I love our speed round of forgiveness in the field. Sometimes we don't get to actually do it, but we did it today, and we have 4 minutes left. So, I need some help from the four of you who are not brand new, because Moses is too new to be a host next week. But I have an opportunity with my company where I'm going to be I just will not be on the call next Friday from 6 to 8. Like during our call, I'm going to be at a big thing for my company, USANA, and I'm really pumped about it. But I can't even chime in. Like when I was at the hockey game, I won't be able to do that. So I need someone to volunteer to be the host, and I want to give the first opportunity to you all who are on live. Would any of you like to host the call?
Jared, I can host the call.
Mom, all right.
Mom.
Oh.
Let me check my schedule.
Yay.
Oh, no. Oh, you know what? I'm having chemo that day.
Oh, you are having chemo that day.
That's no excuse. Come on.
Better not. You know,
Langy.
Jared, that's no excuse.
That's no excuse. It's just,
Oh my God. Nathan said it's no excuse, Mom.
it's no excuse.
You're going to have to host another one. Everyone got real excited.
I know. I got excited too.
Can we do it another day?
No.
Got to be Friday.
No, it's got to be Friday. Yeah, it's Friday at 7.
I'll probably
Okay.
feel okay because that's when they give you the steroid but I'm really tired, like sleepy, because they give you Benadryl too. So
Yeah, no, it'll be a little stressful for you.
yeah, it'll be too much stress.
Yeah. All right. So Rosalia, Nathan, or Langy, would you like the opportunity to host the call?
I haven't got the book.
Oh, you don't. Langy doesn't have the book.
No. I mean, how blooming useless am I? Yeah.
I'll do it.
Nathan Lively. Oh my God.
Yeah, you're a star.
Oh yeah.
Yay. Woo.
Dude, I can't
Layla
wait.
do the
I can't wait for this record. Are we gonna actually see you? Is this gonna be is this gonna be like
Hell
a
no.
You can do it, my wife. You can do it, baby cat. You can do
What?
it, baby cat.
So it's a short chapter.
I'll read 2 pages a day. I think my mom dropped off. I think she lost her internet or something. Or I can't hear you, Mom. You might have to mute yourself.
I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm back.
So Nathan Lively's gonna host the call. Nathan, please, can you please show your webcam? Because you'd be surprised. We have people who watch these YouTubes in our group, and they want to see the host. I know they do.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you, Nathan. All right. So Nathan Lively's going to come at you live next Friday from Minneapolis. He's going to be hosting Chapter 3. Thank you, Nathan.
It's a
Mom and Dad.
Live with Lively.
Live with Lively. Ooh, I like that. And Mom and Dad, you'll be able to record, I guess, hopefully. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I love watching the recordings. Like when I'm not able to be on, I still love to watch the recordings. So, all right. Well, great. We made it, man. The hour flies by, doesn't it? So, all right. Well, everyone, thank you for being on. We're going to unmute the lines. Everyone say good night and God bless.
Good
Good
night.
night.
God bless.
Good night and God bless.
Good night and God bless.
Good night, Moses, and God
God
bless.
bless.